Hot Atlanta. Well, it is today and tomorrow. Mercury past 80 degrees. Beautiful day to test out that slip sliding away asphalt at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Series champ Martin Truex, king of the mile-and-a-half ovals. Ryan Blaney looking to score. Kurt Busch, former series champ. Is Kevin Harvick? Is he the master of Atlanta? Or might it be Denny Hamlin? Or somebody else to run for the pole here at Atlanta for Sunday's 500-mile race on one of the oldest track surfaces in NASCAR. So old that after last year's race, the Speedway wanted to repave it, and the drivers said, don't touch it. We love racing here. But what about qualifying here, and who do you like?
Well, I like Kyle Larson. He was putting up some really consistent fast laps. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. looked really good, but if I had to pick one, I think I'd go with Larson. This is going to be a white-knuckle wild ride, and they got to do it 3 rounds.
See, this is what happens when I say, when he says, who do you like, before we go on the air and I say Ricky Stenhouse.
I didn't pick him. I gave him to you.
You gave him to,
you can ask Denny.
Who you like, Darryl?
But I do like him.
I like Denny Hamlin because he convinced me that Denny Hamlin was good. I think he set us both up, to tell you the truth. But Hamlin's really, really good on the long run. I think that'll pay off in qualifying, I hope.
On the long run.
On the long run. He got to run 3 times.
Jamie Little.
Well, I think DW picked Denny Hamlin. I don't know, maybe Jeff Gordon did too. Earlier, I heard you after practice, you seemed pretty confident. How confident are you now that it's kind of the sun's going down, it's cooled off a bit?
Well, you know, we've had a bunch of practice sessions, so that definitely changes the racetrack quite a bit. So hopefully we made the right adjustments for that. You know, typically you got to make a big swing from practice here, being that we were the first cars on track to where we are now in qualifying. Sun, you know, from past history has been an issue as well, getting into turn 1. So we'll just try everything we can to make sure we get a good solid run and then adjust the car from there to make sure we're right where we need to be for round 3.
All right, Denny is the 2010 pole sitter here at Atlanta.
Daytona 500 champ Austin Dillon had a very busy week. And so did 3 cars that have yet to get through inspection. Here's Matt Yoakum.
Now, Mike, Joey, think back to last year. Here in the garage area, if you walk around, and my cameraman Dave Stolen can pan, you would see a sea of cars. It was like a parking lot, a number of cars still trying to make their way through NASCAR's LIS inspection station. This year, 30-plus cars have made it through. In fact, 2 big-name drivers, Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson, they're waiting for their cars to go through and head out onto the grid. The 48 of Johnson is in the optical scanning station at this juncture. He's next up, but both have failed twice. Now, the 3rd time for Jimmy Johnson, that means Jesse Saunders, if they fail the 3rd time, will be ejected from the premises. The same for Blake Harris on the 78 if they don't pass a 3rd time. So a little bit of drama back here, but man, it's almost like a ghost town compared to a year ago.
Wow. That yes, and that is good for NASCAR. Jesse Saunders is the car chief on that car. The 51 of Harrison Rhodes, I don't believe, put up a lap in practice earlier today and also has not made it through inspection. Getting ready to qualify. Welcome back to Atlanta. Martin Truex's car pushed back to the optical scanning station.
Well, and what that is, it's a full body scan inside that tent that Matt talked about, and there's 8 projectors and 17 total cameras. And that scan includes the windows. Well, the windows are clear and actually cause the reflection, so that's the reason they put those dots on the windows, is where it can actually pick up the scan of the window, which on the window they actually give you a 200,000 plus or minus, where on the body it's 150,000 plus or minus.
Martin Truex's car still being inspected. Here's Matt.
And Martin Truex Jr. waiting on the other side of the optical scanning station. Your car has gone through twice. Now, the good news is if it comes out and it turns left, that means you're good to go. If it comes out and turns right, we've got some problems.
Well, we are at Atlanta, so we are hoping to turn left anyway, but I'm glad we could provide you with a little entertainment for your first 15 minutes of the show.
Well, this is the thing. You guys are team players, and it's all about entertainment.
Absolutely. That's why we're here, right?
And I must say, if Dave Stolen can pan down, when we get to the night races, we will never lose Martin Truex Jr. on pit road. Those are
Camo on the back. You gotta get the camo on the back.
Oh, we got the camo. All right, let's go down the pit road to Jamie.
Well, Joey Logano is hard to miss, too, with the yellow fire suit always. And, Joey, looking back at the only practice you guys had, you saved the best for last. 20 laps, and the 20th was your fastest. What does that mean looking forward to the pole here?
Yeah, we'll see. It's hard for me to hear you with the cars warming up, but yeah, we'll see. This is always a fun place to qualify, just as the tires wear out so much and you move around. You don't know where you want to run or where everyone else is going to run. So you got to be so open-minded when you go to qualify here in Atlanta. And I think our Shelpenzo Ford's got some speed. Like I said, we put our best lap up there towards the end. Some of the other laps that were up there happened really early in practice when the track didn't have as much rubber. So I don't really know exactly where we're at, but we're about to find out here soon.
All right, he's looking for his second pole at Atlanta.
Thanks, Jamie. Now, all of these cars had to go, left or right? That is the question.
It's going left.
It's a left.
It's leaning.
Now, all these cars had to pass inspection before they were allowed on the track for practice. They had to go through, well, not full inspection, but the optical scanning stations. Crew Chief Cole Perrin. And we asked NASCAR officials, where were the issues in inspection? At Daytona, it was the bottom of the rear window was often too high to try to keep air off the rear spoiler. Here at Atlanta, where you need downforce, some cars had issues with the bottom of the rear window being too low because you want added downforce. But that all should have been resolved before the cars went on track for practice. What is this, a K-turn? It's not exactly a left turn, is it? We'll get more in a minute. Jamie.
Well, qualifying in Atlanta is challenging for anybody, but especially when you're a rookie like William Byron. Great job at Daytona a week ago, but this is a whole new ball game. Who's kind of helped you and given you some advice about these cars here?
Really all my teammates, just looking at their data and being able to kind of compare to what I'm doing has been the biggest thing. But this place has not a lot of grip compared to Vegas or places that we tested. So it's going to be fun and exciting in qualifying, but I feel like our car is pretty decent and should be able to put a good lap together. So looking forward to it.
All right, the 20-year-old is driving the 24 this year, Mike.
Jamie, the last time this track was paved was before he was born. Darrell Wallace Jr. coming off a runner-up finish in the Daytona 500. What a great way to start his full-time tenure at Richard Petty Motorsports. Third in practice. All leading up to Sunday on Fox. It's the Monster Energy Cup Series, returning to Atlanta for the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500. 1:30 Eastern on Fox, or stream live on Fox Sports Go, or tune in tomorrow to check on the start time and see if we get an adjustment as provided by NASCAR. When weather threatens, it's a possibility.
I don't like the look of this.
Well, they just had a lengthy discussion with NASCAR officials about that car as it exited the disco, as we've heard it called, the optical scanning station.
Wow.
The session has started without the 48 on, or excuse me, without the 78 on pit road. Jimmy Johnson was late coming out, but made it. Remember, last year they had 20 minutes for this session. This year it is 15. 15 minutes in round one. 24 drivers advance to the second of 3 rounds.
You know what I love, Mike? I mean, these guys are going to tear out of here, run the fastest lap they've run all day. And to a man, they said, we're not real sure what we got. That takes a lot of confidence.
Here's last year's pole sitter, Kevin Harvick. The sun is still out, and it's warm here in Atlanta. 91-degree track temperature right now. But look at this shade down here in 1 and 2 as he takes the green, heads into 1 and 2.
Oh, he's going up in the high lane.
And I expect that shade to continue to drop and fill this racetrack up, and that track temperature to drop and get faster and faster.
199 into turn 1, 197 into turn 3.
I mean, would you have thought he would take the high line? This guy rides the yellow line around the bottom of the racetrack, and he's up high in 1 and 2.
Low in 3 and 4.
I think it's just
29.86 for Harvick.
I think it's just so unpredictable of whether you're going to hit. Oh, as we see Ricky Stenhouse Jr. about to scrape the wall for turn 4 at the right side.
30-13 for Stenhouse. Kurt Busch. The first three all Fords, and Kurt now second fastest. How about our series champ, Matt?
Mike, they pulled the 78 out of the optical scanning station, came to a stop, a long debate between Cole Pern, Scott Punch, who heads up that area of NASCAR's inspection. The 78 did not pass the scan. They have brought it back into the garage stall. Now, Blake Harris, the young man who just walked in with a cell phone to the ear, he's the car chief. He will be ejected per NASCAR's rules for 2018. The car's back up on jack stands. Now, Cole and Joe Garroni, the general manager of Furniture Row Racing, have gone to the NASCAR hauler to plead their case of what's gone down, but not a good Friday afternoon for the 78.
Not so far. Watch Ricky Stenhouse coming off forward. Did he catch the wall?
Oh, just barely. He grazed it.
A kiss. A kiss.
There you see a little crease. There's a little scrape there on the right side, just behind the right rear tire.
Not so sunny right there now.
William Byron will be the first Chevrolet on the clock.
First time qualifying in a Monster Energy Cup car.
Greg Galding on track in a Toyota as well. And Brad Keselowski. Brad on the right.
You can really hear those RPMs pick up as Brad gets closer to turn 3.
Second for Byron. And Keselowski in the green, you see on the lower right. So he should take the top spot from Kevin Harvick in round 1, and does. 29.73.
And remember, the goal here is top 24. You just want to make it to round 2. You don't want to use up too much of those tires. Have something a little bit left for round 2 and round 3.
Mike, that's pretty close to what we saw in practice. Stenhouse ran a 29.74, so right there with our fastest practice speed.
Paul Menard for the Wood brothers.
And those times look, Jeff, similar to what we saw here last year.
And I was a little concerned with Keselowski. We didn't see any fast speeds out of him in practice. You know, oh, big slide of the 21 Paul Menard off of turn 4. But yeah, I was a little concerned whether Keselowski was going to be able to put up a lap time like this today in qualifying.
Menard 6th right now. He was 15th in practice. Jamie McMurray on the left was 18th in practice in his Chevy, and he clocks in 3rd. Nice run for Jamie Mack. Ryan Newman with a handful of steering wheel off the corner.
Newman qualified extremely well here last year.
5th. Ryan Blaney for Team Penske. 9th out of 10.
Wow, that's surprising. Thought he'd be a little better than that.
Alex Bowman comes to the green for Hendrick Motorsports.
This might be a car that could shake things up a little bit. He was pretty fast in practice. 5th quick.
Median time here 30 flat. Blaney was a half second beyond that, so we might expect a second run from Ryan Blaney.
I think it's interesting, Jeff. Everybody is using the high line of 1 and 2. I think they're avoiding that bump getting into 1, and then they're using the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4.
Yeah, if you can hook that yellow line in 3 and 4, there's definite speed there. But it's so unpredictable whether you can get to the yellow line in 1 and 2 because of the bump and the transition getting to the bottom of the racetrack. The safer bet, and round 2, round 3, I definitely think the top is going to be the way to go. Normally we see him try the bottom in 1 and 2 in the first round, but not today.
I think the problem is, Mike, we heard some of the guys talking about when my car lands. And turn 1, when you go over that bump into turn 1, it lands hard. And apparently the cars are getting a little loose right there, so the guys are avoiding that getting in the corner.
Eric Almirola 10th fastest. David Reagan on the right. And A.J. Allmendinger on the left.
Right into the sun. So hard to pick up your line, and the line is pretty precise here when you think of that wall on the outside and the seam where your left sides are going to jump over it.
You know, maybe that high line works a little bit better, not looking directly into the sun. You're out there a little wider and getting in a little bit higher. Maybe that helps.
And maybe as that sun goes down some more and we see the shade creeping more towards the front straightaway, maybe they will get a little bit lower.
I believe so.
Reagan 13th, Allmendinger 11th. And Joey Logano 6th on the right. Daniel Suarez on your left. Suarez 4th. He's the fastest Toyota.
He was, remember at Daytona, he was always pretty much the fastest Toyota down there. So got a lot of speed in that 19 car.
Now, Denny was the fastest Toyota in our practice we had earlier today. I'm curious to see him back up.
All right, help me. Which one of you picked Hamlin?
I did.
Okay.
I was based on.
The guy I picked hasn't gone out yet.
I picked him based on what Jeff told me.
Chase Elliott on the right. Hamlin on the left.
I don't think this is the lap Denny Hamlin was looking for. But he might be trying to save a little bit for that next round if he can get to round 2.
Well, he might.
14th for Hamlin, 13th for Casey Kane, 17th for Elliott.
If he's saving, he's saving a little too much.
Yes.
I can tell you that. That is not what I was expecting by any means.
Casey Kane in the 95.
You got
13th.
Kozlowski up there with a 29.73, Mike. That's a good lap. And then, you know, here's Hamlin. He just won a 30.50. He's way off.
Well, 12th right now is a 30.25. So anything in the 20s and maybe even in the 30s would get you to round 2. Clint Boyer, third, 29.98.
Attaboy.
Fords have come to life here in qualifying. We didn't see a lot out of them in practice.
Eric Jones, 14th. Kyle Larson, 4th, 30.02.
It's a little slower than he was in practice by a couple of tenths, but still, compared to the field, pretty good lap.
Jeffrey Earnhardt, 23rd. One more car and then bumping will begin. That is Chris Buescher. And after his run, we'll start whittling down the drivers that will advance to round 2.
Mike, I think if you look as the cars enter turn 1, you'll see how that safer barrier just got a little belly in it as you kind of swing out to get down into turn 1. You can scrape that thing if that sun gets in your eye and you're not real sure where you are.
Seen a lot of drivers have some issues getting from the back straightaway into turn 3 as they come over that crest. The car is stepping out from underneath them.
Buescher is 18th, so Jeffrey Earnhardt is on the bubble. Matt DiBenedetto on the left. Ty Dillon on the right. And Jimmy Johnson beginning to roll out from his space. And DiBenedetto 23rd. He will bump Jeffrey Earnhardt. Greg Galding to the bubble of those to advance. And Ty Dillon bumps him. Dillon 22nd right now.
Remember Ty Dillon, he was one of the first cars on the racetrack when practice started. He was 4th quick, but that was one of the first laps put up by some of these guys. Whoa, hang on that baby.
Bubba Wallace coming to the green. Trevor Bayne has bumped Matt DiBenedetto, and now Bubba Wallace 19th bumps David Reagan.
Couldn't even touch the gas, had it spinning out.
Ty Dillon on the bubble now.
This
at
place
30.75.
This place can really get your attention. You think that there's going to be a lot of extra grip when you see the shade coming over 1 and 2, track temperatures down, and it just doesn't have it. As you heard Bubba Wallace reference just how little grip there was.
You know, I heard Childress tell Austin earlier in practice, when you tape these cars up, it seemed to really, really loosen them up more than they have in the past. Taping them up means solid on the grill for qualifying.
Especially for
Austin
the Chevrolets,
Dillon.
they've never had to do that before with this new Camaro. It's all new.
Dillon 21st bumps his younger brother out of the top 24. And here's Kyle Busch's Toyota. Chase Elliott on the bubble. And goodbye Chase. Kyle Busch is 12th fastest. Ryan Blaney on the bubble as Jimmy Johnson makes his run.
Jimmy certainly came to the green and into turn 1 really well with a lot of speed, as we saw he was in the green, and now you start to see a tenth and a half off the leader right now.
I think you're going to have to be in the low 40s to be safe to advance to round 2.
Car looks loose.
And you saw the back end kick
just,
out right as he got into the banking.
Yeah.
Jimmy Johnson is in 14th. That bumps Ryan Blaney. And on the bubble, Denny Hamlin.
I think Denny had a pretty big bobble getting into turn 3 where he had to correct. And so I think you'll definitely see him pick up the second time out. But
Hamlin at
he's going to have to get out there pretty quick.
He's going to have to make a second time out now.
Yeah, 3.5 minutes
He
left
doesn't have
in the session,
lot of time
Jamie.
here.
Well, right after Denny's run, he said, I was really loose, bad loose. I don't know what else I could have done there. So they just have to wait now and hope they can make it back out for another run.
Ross Chastain is in the 15 this week, not quick enough to break into the top 24. Watching Michael McDowell. 3 drivers have yet to make their first run. I'm not sure if the 51 ever made it out of the garage to the qualifying line. And we're told the 78 of Martin Truex will not be able to make a qualifying attempt.
Wow, that's going to be a story to watch for the rest of the weekend.
McDowell, does he make it?
Yes, sir. I think he's
yes, he does. 22nd.
Yeah.
Hamlin is out. Austin Dillon is on the bubble with a 30-50.
Michael was wheeling it through 3 and 4. It was yawed out, sideways, sawing on the wheel.
I got a feeling we'll see that 11 hit the racetrack again here right at before we run out of time.
So now all 34 drivers that are out on the starting grid have taken time. Austin Dillon waiting. Larry, 2:12 to go. When do you have to leave pit road?
That's what I've been studying, Mike. It looks like to me somewhere around 45 seconds to go in the session is when you're going to have to hit it, and you're going to have to get all you can get getting around there to get the green flag.
David Reagan currently 29th, trying to bump back in. Ooh, he's got a handful.
Now, DW, you know you've raced here before. These are the longest corners of any 1.5-mile track we go to. So if you miss that setup, if that car's loose, it is a handful because it's not just a little loose, it's loose for a long time.
Yeah, Jeff, we have a mile of corners here and a half mile of straightaways. So these straightaways are real short.
So if you're going to bump in, that box right there needs to be green because that is the differential to the 24th place car, which is currently Austin Dillon. David Reagan does not improve, nor does Ty Dillon. And here comes Hamlin.
And you see he's in the green.
And if he should, I think he's going to pick up, Mike. But the problem is, this is the lap he wanted to run in the next go-round. So he's going to have an extra lap on his tires.
The pride of Georgia, Chase Elliott on the left.
Oh, he's going to abandon the lap.
Yep. Didn't get turns 1 and 2. Here comes Hamlin in the green against Austin Dillon. Dillon is out. Hamlin is 15th, and Chris Buescher is now on the bubble at a 30-48. And Austin Dillon will not make another run.
Is this a humbling sport or what?
Yes, it is.
So Dillon right now 25th. And 24 will advance. 30-48 is what you needed to move on to round 2. So Brad Keselowski leads round 1. We move on to round 2. 10 minutes and half of the 24 drivers in that round will advance. Brad Keselowski paces round 1. Brad Keselowski paced the first round of qualifying. He is the fastest of 10 Fords that will move on to round number 2. Jamie.
And Austin Dillon goes from winning the Daytona 500 to now not advancing to the second round. That's the sport, right, Austin?
Yeah, I think I'm ready for a nap. It's been a long week, but, our Dow Chevy's fine. We started 19th here last year, and we're running 3rd when our alternator went out. So I'm really excited about this place. It's a long run track, qualifying. It really sets you up a little bit for pit stalls and stuff like that, but we're all good, man. We're locked in right now, and we just got to go to work tomorrow in our practice session and see what we can do. Newman's fast, and that's good to see, and we'll work off of our teammates.
Thanks, Austin. Matt?
Jamie, Chase Elliott also missed advancing to round 2, so you had a chance to debrief with Alan. What did you miss?
Everything, I think. Some days you do and some days you don't, and we didn't today. So I don't know. We're way off, not even close. So I don't really have much of an excuse for it. Just, didn't hit it right today, and we'll go to work tonight, work through it, and hopefully get better tomorrow, and it's our only option now.
Thanks, Mike.
Now tomorrow he'll be in the booth for the Xfinity race on FS1. 24 drivers advance to round number 2, and here they are: 10 Fords, 10 Chevrolets, and 4 Toyotas. Moving on up. And we'll be back for 10 minutes of round 2 with half this group to advance to the final round. Keselowski, Harvick, Boyer, 3 Fords top of the chart round 1. Then the Ganassi Chevrolets of Larson and McMurray, and the Gibbs Toyota of Daniel Suarez. Those were the fastest half dozen in the first of 3 rounds of knockout qualifying. So in round 2, which will last 10 minutes, only half of those advancing to round 2 will move on to the final round.
Boy, if my 11 car is going to settle in a pole, Mike Wheeler's going to have to get the magic wand out. He's going to have to wave it over that car pretty quick. He was way off. I couldn't believe how far off he was.
Hamlin ended up 15th. He is the only car advancing that has 2 runs on his tires.
Mike, the biggest thing is not a lot of time for those tires to cool down, considering how late he made that second run in round 1.
But, you know, the reason I picked him is because Jeff said he was good on the long run. So we're just going to have a long run here.
Okay.
Or a long wait.
We're going to send you for a long wait.
Yep. Skyhook.
Run down there and get me a long wait.
Would you tell that story since we have a second?
Oh, we had a kid. You know, every team, we always had a shirt that said new guy. So you kind of broke a new guy in and say, run down there to Childress and tell him you need a long wait. So the kid would go and he'd be gone for 2 hours.
They just kept sending them to the next team, to the next team. Oh, we don't have one, but those guys are going to have one.
A long W-A-I-T.
Exactly.
All right, 10 minutes. Here we go.
And Harvick, just like he did in round 1, takes off early. He wants to know what he's got. Get it done. Get those tires cooled down for the next round if he can advance.
4 races in a row here. He has led lots and lots of laps without a victory in those 4 races to show for it. He has 1 win here, but he's always fast here.
Yeah, he likes to shake that wheel. Even coming up to speed, you notice it. He's working that wheel a good bit. Little bobble here and there.
199 into the corner.
Right up next to the wall, back into the throttle. And that to me is the smoothest I've seen anybody get through 1 and 2 yet. Oh, missed the bottom there a little bit. That's going to cost him.
Couldn't get back to the throttle.
Such a huge advantage to hook that yellow line.
30.04. Alex Bowman, 30.52.
Boy, a lot of drop off already. I know we only seen 2 cars go, but woo.
Jamie Mack, second, 30.32. And Ricky Stenhouse, second, 30.21. Joey Logano coming to take the green.
You can see Joey right up next to the wall, straddling that seam, trying to get back in the throttle, but you can hear him really playing with the throttle. The rear tires losing grip.
Just could never get it wide open. Took him a long time before he got out of that corner.
You can hear him just feathering out of the throttle, trying to get the nose set, but it didn't set. He missed that yellow line also, like we saw Harvick.
Fourth for Logano, 30.44. So far, everyone 2, 3, or 4 tenths slower than they were in round 1. Not Kurt Busch. He's right on top of his round 1 time. Second fastest, 30.15. William Byron, 30.66.
Keselowski looks steady, doesn't he? He's really holding a pretty wheel and not fighting with the car. Back in the throttle.
You can see he runs a lower line than we saw Kevin Harvick run, but then swings out wide right next to the wall on the exit.
Car's carrying good speed down the back right now. It looks really fast.
He's almost on top of the time that Kevin Harvick ran. Little bit of trouble also. You see that bump, how much it upsets the car, and makes it so difficult to hook the yellow line.
I'll be close.
Second for Brad, 30-15, 3/1000ths quicker than Kurt Busch. Ryan Newman fifth, 30-21.
Again, these guys will be happy with those types of lap times. They just need to get to round 3, and then they're going to lay it all on the line in round 3.
Hey, Suarez's car looks pretty good right now.
And remember, wasn't he the highest Toyota in round 1?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, that car looks nice. That's the best I've seen anybody stay on the bottom through 3 and 4.
Casey Kane on the right.
Pretty nice. He got through 3 and 4 probably better than anybody in the
Suarez second fastest, and he's within 100th of a second of his first round time, as was Kurt Busch. Casey Kane 8th, 30-37. Casey Kane is the first driver to run faster than he did in round 1.
I think that's one of the things that makes this track so difficult to do rounds of qualifying. You don't know what the grip level is going to be. How much is it going to lose speed? How hard can you push it? How deep can I drive into the corner? Is it going to stick? So many unknowns.
And I think in the back of your mind, Jeff, everybody says, well, the tires slow down. Second time out, they're going to be slower. You've already got that mindset. You got to put that away and really just stand on it and be confident it is going to stick.
Clint Boyer finishing up. 7th for Boyer, 30-24. Kyle Busch.
Looks like he lost a little bit of speed late off of turn 2. Is really good getting to the center. Not bad through 3 and 4. He's going to pull back some time.
William Byron on the bubble. Busch bumps Byron, 5th fastest. Trevor Bayne. Alex Bowman on the bubble now.
Bayne's car looked decent coming through 3 and 4.
And he does not advance. 13th for Bayne. So Bowman holds on to the last transfer spot. A.J. Allmendinger. .30.52. And the graphic on the lower right compared to the pole speed. Kyle Larson right now faster than Harvick. Nope. Not anymore. Can Allmendinger get past Trevor Bayne at 30.57?
Larson's in the green.
No, Allmendinger misses it by 1/100th of a second. Larson third at a 30.10. We're going to switch our tracker in the lower right to the bubble spot, which is now Joey Logano at 30.34. Eric Almirola on the left, Eric Jones on your right.
Well, I just can't express how difficult conditions these are to go into that turn 1, that sun right in your eyes, doing almost 200 miles per hour and needing to push that car right up next to the wall.
You know, we always, back in the day, you'd say, if I could just do it again. Here you say, I don't want to do it again.
All right, a little trivia for you. Eric Almirola's paint scheme, and here's Jones coming to the line. To the 12th spot. Yeah. Jones is 10th. Logano's out. Kane on the bubble. Almirola 9th, bumps him. Almirola's paint scheme looks like what car from what stock car racing themed movie? We'll tell you tomorrow in practice.
Go home and study on that.
It wasn't the star car, but it was prominent.
Gonna keep me thinking all night until tomorrow, Mike.
Gotta go back and watch all those races.
Jimmy Johnson coming to take the green, and the bubble now is Jamie McMurray at 30.32.
You know, Mike, we know this is one of the greatest drivers of all time, but he is in a slump, and he just needs something good to happen to him. Coming out of Daytona, wrecked 3 cars. He just needs something good. Get through one race without any incidents. I think that'll make a big difference.
Whoa, big slide. That's not what he's looking for. Still sliding. This is a track I think he can really rebound on. DWE won here a couple years ago. Runs great at this track. I mean, even with that slide, he's holding on decent. If he could just get through 3 and 4.
He's doing a whale of a job, I tell you that.
He hooked that yellow line late, was nice and patient. I don't know if it's going to be enough to advance.
30-32 is the bump stop. No, 19th for Jimmy Johnson. So McMurray holds on at 30-32.
William Byron trying a second time in round 2.
4 drivers have not yet made a run as Byron comes out for the second time.
You know those seams, Mike, and Jeff, you know this from driving this track, and I do too. When you hit those black spots, sometimes it upsets the car. Those are a little bit slick. I don't mean like ice or anything, but you feel them when you hit them, and the car will respond to running through some of those big sealed up places.
Yeah, and I think that's why you'll see a lot of drivers either straddle it or be above it or below it, but try not to get the tires right on top of it.
The tires here wear so quickly. Byron is slower on his second run. A minute to go.
Is my man gone yet?
And Michael McDowell rolls out. So does Bubba Wallace. And Denny Hamlin waited and cooled his tires as long as possible before going out for his run in the 11. 30-32, Jamie McMurray is the bubble.
Well, Levin's going to have to hustle around here. He's going into turn 3 with 22 seconds.
I think he's got it
he's
perfectly.
Okay. He timed that out nice.
Track cooling down, perfect conditions. Those tires cool down enough.
Come back.
That's a pretty nice run through turns 1 and 2
All
right
about
there.
executing 3 and 4.
Really nice.
Michael McDowell, 16th, does not advance.
This car's looking
no, he lost a little bit off the 4.
But he's going to be okay.
Hamlin just barely. 2/100ths of a second gets him into round 3.
You guys still alive, DW.
I got a chance. Long run, baby, long run.
Jamie McMurray misses it by just that much. Kevin Harvick leads 11 drivers into round 3. Well, 2/3 of the field are set for Sunday's 500-miler. Jamie McMurray just a bit outside the top dozen. Casey Kane, nice run for Kane, 14th with Levine Family Racing. Down at the bottom of the list, our series champ Martin Truex did not submit that car for a 4th try at inspection, and Harrison Rose did not make it onto the racetrack. Matt?
Mike, Jimmy McMurray, a 30.324 to an 03. You've just barely missed it. How big of a change did you see the track swing from the first round to the second?
Well, it loses a lot of grip here. I was thinking Denny Hamlin made me wait till the very end, have to get out. But yeah, we've been really loose since we've unloaded, and we made a pretty big swing out of there. And our Cessna McDonald Chevy just needed a little bit more grip. The kind of the flip side or the positive side is that we'll have 1 less lap on our tires, and it doesn't seem like a big deal. But of any of the tracks that we go to, 1 lap makes a pretty big difference here.
Good luck tomorrow in practice. Jamie?
Casey Kane driving for Levine Family Racing now. Well, how did your expectation, how was it matched there now? You qualified 14th.
Yeah, not bad. We picked up the second round, which I thought was nice. It's tough to do. I don't feel great, but I doubt anybody does on this surface. But yeah, it's been an interesting day just trying to understand. You know, it's a different car and a lot of different things going on. So trying to understand that, working with the guys has been good, but we have a long ways to go. So we'll keep after it. And but yeah, not bad for our Procore Habitat for Humanity Chevy Camaro ZL1 was all right there.
All right, Casey Kane, 3-time winner here. He knows what that field needs to be.
Sure does, Jamie. So 6 of 10 Fords move on to round 3. 2 of the 10 Chevrolets advance, and all 4 Toyotas from round 2 will go to the final round to see who wins the pole for Sunday's 500th. Pick your favorite as we get ready for the final round. Brad Keselowski fast in round 1. Kevin Harvick in round 2. 4 poles for Harvick last year.
And 3 of those, Mike, on 1.5 miles.
Jeff spent the whole commercial break trying to convince us he had picked Kevin Harvick for the pole. All right, fellas. You all get to revote.
Oh, we do?
Yes. Who do you like?
Oh, great.
I got to say, I was super impressed with what I saw in 3 and 4 from Daniel Suarez. Now, I think Harvick's going to readjust and see where he missed the bottom in 3 and 4. I think he's going to win the pole, but I think that Daniel Suarez might be able to give him a great run.
You don't have to go last. Go ahead.
Oh, shucks. I'm so used to going last. Well, Harvick, that's the low-hanging fruit. I'll take Keselowski.
You take Keselowski. I'll take Larson.
Hey, I picked Larson from the beginning.
But you let him go. You traded him away.
I did, because he's a 10th off of those guys. So.
I thought it was a great pick, so I figured, what?
I have no problem with low-hanging fruit.
Okay, so you
I'll
have
take
Harvick.
Yes, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Now, I have Harvick. Remember, I got Harvick against the field with you.
Yes, you do.
In the race. I just wanted to set that straight because he seemed like he might win waffling a little
I
bit.
went with the odds. The odds were in my favor.
Track is open. 5 minutes. 6 Fords, 2 Chevys, 4 Toyotas. Let's see who will sit on the pole for Sunday.
And they're giving them information about how much this track temp has gone down. They know 1 and 2 is shaded. Sun's still going to be in their eyes getting into turn 1, but this is where you have to make adjustments as a driver and a team with the air pressures, try to figure out what can you get out of it.
Matt?
Mike, his only comments, Kevin Harvick, after he made his run in round 2, was simply the car way too tight, way too tight.
But you know what I like? All 3 sessions. First car on the track. First car out of the pit. And you know what I like about that? You don't have to overdrive the car. You drive your lap and see if it's good or not, or if somebody can beat it or not.
We saw them make a pretty major right front air pressure adjustment. You let a little air out of that right front, that will definitely free that car up.
Just like we saw him in the first 2 rounds, really carries a lot of speed in the 1 and 2, right up next to the wall and back in the throttle aggressively.
Yeah, he didn't play
he
around.
hooked that yellow line. Nobody's better at than Kevin. This time he does a much better job.
Yeah, he's not playing around this time.
That's going to be
way too tight in the one.
30.06.
Now we know why he's drifting to the wall in 1 and 2. He's really tight.
Well, he was up in the gray. I mean, it really was in the middle of 1 and 2 over there.
But he backed up his lap from round 2. I think that's a really good lap.
Boys, that would be Brad in the green.
Why are you telling us that?
Just because. Don't worry, he's in the red. Now he's in the red.
Yeah, got to get
Stenhouse
to 3 and 4.
second. Kurt Busch third.
He's still got the, he's got a little ways to come.
Coming down, coming down.
He's going to be pretty.
Come on down.
Hey, better hurry, better hurry.
Second by 9/100ths of a second.
Boy, and,
to Kevin Harvick.
As a driver, you know if you could have just squeezed in the throttle a little sooner, a little bit more, you're going to be on the pole.
I think the biggest thing is what I'm seeing is everybody struggles a little bit in turn 3. Look like you're a little bit loose getting in there. If you get in there right, you can get back in the throttle. But if not, you got to wait.
Ryan Newman.
Comes to the green really strong. Through the center, 1 and 2. We heard Kevin Harvick say he struggles getting into turn 1 and 2. So it's all about 3 and 4.
Remember, he qualified really well here last year, Jeff, and Ryan Newman did. I don't exactly remember where. I think top 5.
Look at that stat. He and the great Buddy Baker tied for all-time pole wins at Atlanta.
Newman in the green. It's going red.
Oh, it's close.
First.
Yes, 30.06 with a 2. Harvick 30.06 with a 7 in the thousandths column.
That's redemption for last year. He was so close to getting the pole, but Harvick beat him last year.
Clint Boyer.
I just think back to how well Newman came to the green and into 1 and 2 and maintained that momentum through 1 and 2.
Boy, if Richard Childress could back up a Daytona 500 win with an Atlanta 500 pole the next week. My goodness. Here comes Daniel Suarez. Jamie.
This 19 team pleasantly surprised by their speed so far. All they did was make a track bar adjustment before this final round.
It'll be pretty close, but
Close.
Third. 30.09.
06, 06, 09, first three.
Larson just not quite able to do it in round 3.
7th right now. Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, teammates.
Kyle Busch, a great 1 and 2. Look at the speed he's carrying down the back straightaway, continuing in the green. Right to the yellow line. A little bit of wobble.
It's a little loose right there in the middle.
Still looking good.
But he's in it.
9th for Jones.
Hello.
Whoa, Kyle Busch to the top. And somewhere, Buddy Baker is smiling because he retains a tie for Atlanta poles with the Rocket, Ryan Newman. Well, did Denny Hamlin just have so many laps on his tires, he decided not to go?
I think that might be
right.
Mike, I think
what
they
happened.
just wanted to get to the top 12 and not put any more laps on those tires.
There
I
you
think,
go.
honestly,
right,
with
Larry.
that first run of the day, mission accomplished.
So Kyle Busch has his 28th career pole. His last one was at New Hampshire last September. It's his first pole win at Atlanta in 20 tries. By 4/100ths of a second, Kyle Busch has won the pole for the Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500. And for the second year in a row, Ryan Newman will start on the front row. Jamie.
First official pole for Kyle Busch in the Cup Series here at Atlanta. So, Kyle, what was the biggest difference from the second round to the third round? I know they made all the changes they possibly could.
Yeah, we were just we were a little bit too loose and trying to make sure that we could get the throttle down, and that's kind of where we felt like we made up time there that last round. But all in all, just a great day. You know, really cool to have the Snickers almond paint scheme with us here this week, and carrying our friends of M&M's and this Toyota Camry up front. So proud of the effort. Guys did a great job. Adam made some really good calls on being able to adjust on it there for the 3 rounds of qualifying, and being able to start up front. Hopefully, will bode well for Sunday.
And what does that mean, starting up front as we look to the race?
It's a long race here in Atlanta. You know, you've got a lot of guys that are fast on old tires and a lot of guys that are fast on new tires. So you need to be the better car on both of those if you can. You know, Harvick's obviously really good at being able to do that and mitigating his runs and being able to figure out what he needs. So we'll work on it tomorrow in race trim and see what we can do. But you know, for right now, about qualifying on a pole today is a real good achievement for our team so far, and we'll take that in tomorrow and work on our race trim stuff.
Gets a pat on the back from his big brother Kurt. Kyle Busch starts on the pole, Matt.
Buddy Baker, everyone's hero, tied for poles here. I thought last year, look, you had a great shot to finally break that, but you did help your average some.
Yeah, we did a little bit. Got to thank Liberty National Life Insurance for jumping on board and sponsoring our Chevrolet Camaros ZL1 this weekend, and that was rough, but you know, he earned it. Obviously, I did the same thing 7 times and beat somebody else for second. So we'll just keep digging. We got a good race car, and hopefully have some fun this weekend.
Chicago, Kansas, Texas. You've won a 1.5 mile start. You've never won here. Looking back to practice your car and race it, feel pretty confident looking ahead to Sunday?
Yeah, it race trimmed pretty well. I think there's always things that you can work on here. Track conditions seem to change so much when you start practice like that with a green racetrack, but. Look forward to the weekend. It's still one of the best racetracks we come to for being able to handle and work your magic inside the race car, because that's what it all comes down to.
Definitely going to be an elbows up Sunday. Jamie?
Definitely. And Eric Almirola in the 10 car. You qualified 11th. After the heartbreak, the finish the Daytona 500, what's it like just to be back at a 1.5 mile track?
It feels good. It's been a long time since I made the final round. I didn't know what that felt like. I got way too excited. They said I was green getting down into turn 1, and I overdrove turn 1 a little bit and got really tight. So I aborted my lap rather than abusing my tires anymore, and It's a great starting spot for us, and we'll get our Smithfield Ford Fusion tuned up for the race tomorrow. But really proud of everybody at Stewart Haas Racing, and they'll keep having to deal with us.
Good to see you.
Eric Almirola ended up 11th in that session. And where'd Jeff Gordon go?
Jeff, what did you think about that? Oh, Jeff, you're not there.
No, there he is.
Oh, there he is down there. What do you think, Mike?
I think the door is open on that Camaro waiting for someone. Tune in Sunday and you'll find out what Jeff did after this qualifying session. Jamie.
And Daniel Suarez, we talked a lot about him in that session. 4th, you will start on Sunday. This is just your second time here, though. What is it like just adjusting to this place? We hear how difficult it can be.
It's a very tricky place. But just overall, very proud of the 19 effort. We were struggling in the first practice, in the first 30 minutes of practice. And the guys, they went to work and they brought a really good piece for qualify. So very, very happy for that. As well, Atlanta is a big weekend for me and for Aris, my sponsor. The headquarters are here, so a lot of people, a lot of guests, and I'm really looking forward to have a good weekend. So far, we are going to start in the second roads, which is not bad, but hopefully we can make a few more spots on Sunday.
We have one practice session left tomorrow, an hour and a half. It'll be happy hour. What are the things that you really want to focus on to get this car handling well?
You know, that's something very important because the setup that we have right now pretty much is going on the side tonight, and tomorrow we're going to have a complete different race car. Obviously, more focus on the long run. This is a very tricky place. I spent a lot of time this week trying to learn about this place. As you mentioned earlier, I don't have a lot of experience on this place. We come just once every year. My second time in the Cup Series, so we're looking forward for tomorrow. Obviously, that is going to be a big day for Sunday.
Mike?
Thanks, Jamie. Daniel Suarez to start 4th in row number 2 next to Kevin Harvick. The mystery deepens. There's Jeff Gordon behind the Hollywood Hotel. Where might he be headed? Let's go back to 2008 here at Atlanta. Kyle Busch picking up his first win for Toyota.
Wow, look at that. That's a wing car.
Big day for Kyle Busch to score Toyota's first Cup Series win. And he's just won the pole for Sunday's race. Now, Martin Truex never made it out onto the track for qualifying. Here's Matt Yoakum with more.
Mike, I'm with Scott Miller, Senior Vice President of Competition for NASCAR, and we documented that the 78 from Furniture Road Racing, their Toyota went through 3 different times the OSS, the optical scanning station. Walk us through what took place.
Well, I mean, it's unfortunate that we had a situation where we had multiple failures in what was otherwise a very successful debut of the optical scanning station here for a downforce track. And, you know, we had rear wheel alignment problems and we had body scan problems, and we just, we just weren't able to get all of the things legal in those attempts, and here we are.
Different area each time the car went through?
We had, like I said, we had body scan problems for the rear wheel openings, and then we had rear toe failures as well. So, between the combination of those, the times through, we just didn't get a green light by the 3rd time.
Now, after the 3rd time that the team failed, Cole and Joe Garone came over to the NASCAR trailer. They did not attempt to go through a 4th time. Was that the team's option to not do that?
Well, it was, and they, and that's what they elected to do, to sort of risk further penalty over and above of, in case they failed the 4th time.
If they failed the 4th time, what would have been the penalty? Because failing 3, they already lost their car chief, Blake Harris.
Yes, we have the option to suspend a crew member. It doesn't necessarily have to be the car chief. That's at our discretion. We've kind of tabbed the car chief as an important individual, so that's likely what we're going to do. But by rule, we can, it's a crew member ejection and 30-minute practice hold. So that's where we sit right now.
All right, thank you, Scott.
Yep, no problem.
Mike.
Thank you, Matt. The optical scanning station does the job of 3 different stations previously, and it's projectors and measurements, and it's all done optically. You can see why Jeff called it the disco earlier. Kevin Harvick's car is currently in there being scanned. The process takes a little less than 3 minutes. Jamie.
That is very cool. That's exactly. You want to come up with a name, Boyer?
Optical scanning station.
That's what we're going to call it, the optical scanning station. Are you kidding?
It's because of the radio show, and we have to properly announce what it is.
You did not know this, Boyer?
I called it the thing. It's a hell of a thing is what it is, but it's doing a good job. You know, I think it went pretty well today. They had some hiccups, but anything new like that, it's bound to, you know, every time we come to Atlanta.
Way better than the LIS.
Yes. Don't ever say that. That's a bad word.
Well, we're happy with NASCAR's direction for sure, and it looks like a nightclub watching your car be scanned in there. So let's talk about qualifying, 3rd and 9th. Hey, top 10 is the top 10, right? How's your car overall, Kevin? I know you were saying you were tight the whole way around.
Yeah, I wasn't really happy with my car. It was just really tight, really from the time that we made the first lap. And last lap, I had to use a lot of brake getting into one, about drove straight in the wall, and I couldn't see, but I can't see normally, so I'll just say it before he does. And then down there, I just had to, you know, make sure that I hit the bottom to get something out of the lap. So definitely could have made it a lot better, but we have some work to do. And I think, you know, being so much hotter, I think everybody thought the opposite of what it was going to do. We had kind of guarded against being looser the 2nd and 3rd round, and it wound up getting tighter all 3 rounds. So just missed it a little bit there, but still, obviously, our Jimmy John's Busch Ford's got speed.
This place was supposed to be repaved, but all you drivers got together and said, don't do it. What's so fun about this? Why do you guys like this place so much?
Just the grip level. I mean, it's coming even from Daytona. You know, you come there and those cars are stuck, or they're not. They're either stuck or they're wrecked. And then here, I mean, you're slipping, sliding around. That's what's neat about our sport. You leave here and then go to Las Vegas, where you know it's going to be wide open and bad fast out there. Still extremely fast here, but just already in practice, within 5 or 6 laps of race trim, it falls off a little bit more, and next thing you know, you're a second slower than you even started. So that atmosphere that a track like this provides, whether you can run high or low, he'll be low, and I'll probably be somewhere in the middle, and then Larson will be high, I would think. That atmosphere is what makes, you know, this track so unique and so fun for us drivers.
We're pushing patches. Lots of patches, Marcus. Lots of patches.
And you guys got your wish. So your car has cleared optical scanning station, guys.
Yes. Good job.
Well, for the 78 today, it was panic at the disco. They did not pass inspection.
I like all those lights. Kind of makes my feet want to get happy.
Atlanta Motor Speedway, home of great finishes.
You know, Mike, Jeff Gordon said that was one of the most fun races that he remembers being in, the last 20 laps of that race.
An important win for Kevin Harvick. A lot of healing went on that day. How about Carl Edwards and Jimmy Johnson banging their way to the finish? Carl's first win in the Cup Series.
Sweep the weekend. He won on Saturday and Sunday.
The Jeff and Jimmy Show. Denny Hamlin beating Big Daddy. And here comes Casey Kane around the outside and to the finish line. Who will it be on Sunday? Here's the starting lineup. Kyle Busch on pole in a Toyota. Ryan Newman, his 12th front row start here. Kevin Harvick, Daniel Suarez, we've heard from them. Then 3 Fords, Keselowski, Stenhouse, and Busch, and Kyle Larson Chevrolet.
I got the Glenn Boyer there. Nice qualifying run him. Eric Jones, somebody I think will have a good day here. And we see our Eric Almirola. He's up there again this week. Our friend Denny Hamlin didn't even go out the last session there, but still ended up 12th. Back through the field, there's our buddy Darrell Wallace Jr.
Boy, Jimmy Johnson back in 22nd.
William Byron, that's a big surprise. I thought he'd run a lot better than that, but Sunday's long race. Some pretty fast cars back here, too. There's Austin Dillon last week. Humbling sport.
Yes, it is. And Ryan Blaney, who led the most laps last week, back there on row 13 with Dillon. Maybe it'll be a lucky number. Who knows?
There's the champ in the back.
More to come from Atlanta after this. where Kyle Busch has won the pole for Sunday's race. All right, so Jeff Gordon is breaking down his 3-lap run here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
He's doing his optical scanning.
There with his crew chief, his car chief. The NHRA Mellow Yellow Drag Racing Series in Phoenix this weekend. The big story, Brittany Force. Here's Dave Reef.
Brittany, the champ, is in the wall. Paz has fallen over Auto Club Raceway after this very scary incident. 12 days have passed since Brittany Force emerged battered and bruised from her Winter Nationals wipeout. And despite some lingering effects, though, she is back in the saddle, showing the heart of a champion. It's the NHRA's in the Arizona desert, live 7 p.m. Eastern.
Thanks, Dave. We'll look forward to that. There's Speedway President Ed Clark with pole sitter Kyle Busch.
You know, Ed's a pretty good driver in his own right. Yeah. He drives a lot of Legends cars. Ed does.
Big day tomorrow on FS1. Xfinity qualifying, then Truck Series qualifying, and then both races doubleheader, rare doubleheader here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And we'll also have final practice for the Cup cars as we look forward to Sunday's Folds of Honor Quiktrip 500 with Kyle Busch on the pole.